Thank you for having me on here. I really appreciate it. And I'm very grateful to be able to share my message of standing in strength with everyone that's listening. The purpose of standing in strength is understanding that you have the power. You have the power within yourself, understanding the power of the strength that you have. So when it comes to why I came to this portion of my life. So, as I said, I grew up in the Philippines and I moved to the States when I was 5. And when I was in the Philippines, it was very free. You know, I'm a no shoes kind of person. Till this day, I don't like wearing shoes. But as I moved to the States, all these restrictions were starting to be put upon me because growing up in the south side of Chicago, it's, they don't really, my grandparents, my family lived with my grandparents, and it was something that, we're a protective family. And I loved that about my family, very protective. That's why I'm still alive today. But the first restriction I ever felt put upon me was when I got here to the States, my grandma gave me shoes. And when she gave me these shoes, I was like, what are these? Like I'm used to wearing like flip-flops or something like that. And those are the restrictions that started kind of compounding to who I was. And I started feeling that I couldn't test the waters. I couldn't try anything. I couldn't figure out who I was after all those years growing up in the city and then growing up in the suburbs. And it really hurt me to the point where I was really depressed. And it was like you get to the point where you feel held back all the time. And that is where that held back feeling put me in almost like a downward spiral. Like I didn't know who I was, and so I was very rebellious. I tried to kill myself twice in high school, and I was a cutter. I was so upset about not knowing who I was and not being the athlete that I wanted to be. So I was upset and depressed. So as I got older and started trying to figure out who I was and started figuring out my path, I was introduced to fitness. And fitness was the closest thing I could be to an athlete. In high school, I wasn't allowed to be an athlete. Grew up in that strict household, and with that, I tried trying out for a dance team, and my dad came and plucked me out of the tryout. And again, that compounding feeling of not finding myself, of being held back, started accumulating more and more. And that really hurt my confidence. And it really hurt the person I was inside because I knew my capabilities. I knew what I can do. I knew I was a strong person. So the years passed by and I'm still trying to find myself. So in my 20s, I was introduced to heavier weight. And I was actually working out with a gentleman I was dating back then. And he told me that he's like, you know what, Laarni, you need to stop. You need to stop working out like this because you're starting to lift more than me. And so he got upset that I was lifting more than him. But that comment that he said to me planted that seed of self-doubt in my head. I let somebody place that seed of self-doubt in my mind, and it affected me throughout my 20s. It really defeated my confidence even more as I was trying to grow my confidence. That one seed dropped me down a few notches, and I could not find myself again. So around 1999, I was like, you know what? I want to compete in something. Even whatever that guy's, I want to compete in something. And he dashed my hopes. This guy dashed my hopes. But again, years passed by, and I actually I went to school for sports medicine. So I was surrounded by athletes. I filled the expectations of my family being in the medical field. But again, where was I? Where was my strength? And my confidence, again, was still not where I wanted it to be. And also looking back, growing up, there wasn't one person, there wasn't one celebrity or someone like that that I really looked up to or I wanted to be. So I started thinking in the past maybe like 2-3 years, like I really want to build that person that I've always thought that somebody else could look up to, because it's something that I didn't see. And so I decided that I needed to build that person that people can look up to as well, that didn't have that kind of grew up the same as me. So I ended up just last year, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a powerlifting meet. I'm going to try to do powerlifting. I made the decision to look for a coach. I decided to make sure that I found a coach that was going to help me achieve my powerlifting dream. And after a few months, I ended up finding a coach that helped me compete for the first time in November of 2019. And it was the best decision I've ever made. And within that time frame, I learned so much about powerlifting and how the lessons in powerlifting have intertwined with my life to build my confidence and to land me to where I'm at today. It's amazing. And I'm not here to like talk about powerlifting and how to do it. That's somebody else's job. I mean, I'm here to talk about like how the lessons of life and powerlifting kind of intertwined. And I developed a course. It's called Tools of Strength, and it takes you through a lot of interpersonal work. It starts off with developing your internal perspective, understanding who you are, understanding, like for me, it was like, I had to really dig deep and say, what is holding me back? What are the feelings of holding me back? Is it the standards I was taught growing up? Was it the cultural expectations I had growing up? So I really had to take that internal perspective and understand why I was kind of feeling that way. And then it takes you through a journey. The second part of the program, it takes you through a self-acknowledgement, almost like understanding of accepting yourself and knowing that there are things that have happened in your life, you learn from them, and you have to either let those lessons, all lessons can be good or lessons are bad, but there's always a lesson to learn. And you can either accept those lessons and keep you held back, or accept the lessons, learn from them, and move forward. It's interesting to have all these self-acknowledgement tools that are useful. Like, what are you saying to yourself in the morning? I really connect with, what is your strong mind, able body? Having the strong mind and having that able body, it connects with your heart. And whatever you feel and whatever you say to yourself, all these things can connect and you can hear it. Your body hears what you're saying out loud. So knowing what your body's language, and I'm not talking about like standing like this and like, poo poo, body's language. Like, are you saying great things to yourself in the morning? Are you saying how awesome you are every day? So having that positive connection to yourself is going to be helpful to build that strength foundation. And then the last part of the Tools of Strength program is just the community part, the positive movement part of the program. This is like the best part of the program, because once you build a little bit of confidence, the next part is taking your positivity and putting it into action and helping out your neighbor, the environment, something in the community that is going to be helpful. We need as much positive influence in the community as possible, and action is part of the movement for the community. So when I think about standing in strength, it also talks about connecting with other people that have a network that's going to support you, that is going to build you up as much as you can. Because when you're thinking about your inner circle, when you're doing your inner perspective, it's like, who are you letting in your inner circle? And knowing that, are these people going to be your cheerleaders? So you want to have that positivity, plant that positive seed to your next person, to the next person, so we can build a whole positivity forest. And I highly believe that it doesn't stop with me. The positivity seed doesn't stop with me. It starts with you. It starts with the next person. And I want to empower all these women who feel that they're being held back and they don't know what to say. Let me help you build your voice. Every woman, every person has a voice. It's just, how do you use it? How do you use it? And I believe that if you build yourself up, build your confidence, it's going to be right there and it's going to help you out. Okay. So if you are interested in talking with me about the Tools of Strength program after this program, you can email me at laarnimulvey@gmail.com, or you can go onto my website and schedule an appointment with me. It's laarnimulvey.com. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. And I'm so grateful for everything that's been given to me through this program. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.